What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to bring you another one of my 2014 NAWCQ hat format deck profiles. The deck I want to show off today is Ghostrick Spirits. This deck is really cool, and back in the day it had a handful of tops, not the most, and then in recent time it has also gotten a handful of tops in modern hat format tournaments. It's really cool being able to utilize the Ghostrick Monsters to gain small advantages while also using the Spirit Engine to also gain small pluses, and it creates a really cool kind of control +1 type of gameplay, so I'm really excited to show off this deck profile. If everything went correctly, I also had a spirit control video that came out beforehand that if you haven't checked out, hopefully that's already come out at this point. You should definitely go and check that out to kind of understand how the spirits work a little bit more, but I'll also go over that in this video. But without further ado, let's get started on this deck profile. So starting off with the Ghostrick Monsters, we play 3 copies of Ghostrick Jiangshi. This one's really cool. It has 1800 defense. The thing with Ghostricks is they're based on basically flipping monsters face down. They all have the effect where they can't be normal summoned unless you control a Ghostrick monster, and then when they're face up on the field, you're able to flip them face down, which is really cool. And then this one has the effect that when it's flipped face up, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Ghostrick monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of Ghostrick monsters you control, and you can only use that once per turn. Usually the rest of the Ghostrick monsters we play are level 1, so this on its own can basically search any other Ghostrick monster in your deck. So then the next Ghostrick we play is 3 copies of Ghostrick Mary. This one's really cool. Again, same Ghostrick-esque effect. And then when you take damage, so that can be battle damage or effect damage, you can discard this card and special summon a Ghostrick monster from your deck in face down defense position. So that's really good if you see this before you see your Jiangshi. If you take some sort of damage, you can discard this, set the Jiangshi, and then when it flips up, you can add another Ghostrick monster, which is really cool. A lot of the times, the Ghostrick monster you're going to add is one of your 3 copies of Ghostrick Spectre. Again, same Ghostrick effect. And then it has the effect that when a Ghostrick monster is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, what you're able to do is when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position and draw a card. So like how I mentioned with Jiangshi, when Jiangshi's flipped up, you can add this, and then when it would be destroyed, if it's destroyed there, you can special summon this and draw a card. So again, a lot of cool advantage that you can get from the Ghostricks. And the last Ghostrick I play, which not that many builds will play for this deck specifically, is 1 Jack Frost. Honestly, I just wanted one more that had a good effect where if you had just the Jiangshi and you needed more ways to survive, and I felt this was the best one. And what it does is when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can change that monster to face down defense position and special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position. So it's really cool when your opponent tries to set up a big board and push for game, and then you're able to flip one of their monsters face down and have a defender. So then say if they go main phase 2, if that monster was say a level 4 or level 3 that are commonly in this format, they can't then use those monsters to overlay. So that's why I really like playing the one of that. I almost in some cases want to play a second, but the deck space is sort of tight. Moving on to the spirits, we play the standard 3 Aritama and 3 Nikitama. If you guys don't know what these do, the spirit monsters all have the effect that during the turn that they're normal summoned or flip face up, they return to the hand during the end phase, and they can't be special summoned. Aritama, when it's normal summoned, you can add a spirit monster from deck to hand, and Nikitama gives you an additional normal summon of a spirit monster the turn that it's normal summoned or flip face up. And then it also has the additional effect where if it's sent to the graveyard while you control another spirit monster, basically, you're able to draw a card. For this effect, you just have to have another spirit monster on the field to gain that effect. So if you're using monsters for Xyz, it is mandatory, so you'll be able to get the effect, but again, you do still need to have that spirit monster face up on the field. And what you kind of pair with those is 3 copies of Kagado Kage. I mentioned this in the spirit control deck. Your main advantage loop is having Aritama, Nikitama, and Kagado Kage, so that you're able to normal summon Nikitama. Because you normal summoned a level 4, you can special summon Kagado Kage. Additional summon your Aritama, which will search you another Nikitama. Overlay the Kagado Kage and Nikitama into, say, King of the Feral Imps. Detach the Nikitama, add another Kagado Kage. Then the Nikitama will draw a card, and then during the end phase, Aritama returns. So you have the same exact play as follow-up on the opponent's turn, or not the opponent's turn, on your next turn, which is really, really cool, just gaining you more and more advantage. The Ghostricks help stall out to help you find these, as well as being able to kind of play control with the Ghostricks and do this on top of that. After that, we play 1 copy of BLS. There's a cool play with the Spirits and Kagado Kage that lets you stack your deck with this from Lavalval Chain, and then the Nikitama will draw you straight into it, which is really cool. And then we also play 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon. Most of your deck is dark, and later on when we get into the spells, there's a card that helps you manipulate how many dark monsters will be in your graveyard, so you can actually pull that off really easily. Really, really strong card. Both of them just boss monsters. And then for the last monsters, I play 2 copies of Maxi. Maxi just being able to draw into more Ghostricks, which are kind of hand traps in their themselves for the most part. Really cool. I would almost consider 3 of this, but I find that 2 in the main deck is perfect because you don't want to see too many, especially since there are slower decks in the format. Moving on to the spells, 2 copies of MST. You could technically play 3 of this. This deck doesn't like back row a lot, and compared to the spirit control builds, there's less ways to out back row in a sense. So you could consider 3, but 2 you should for sure be playing just to out some of that pesky back row, especially for the couple decks that do main Vanity's Emptiness still. Really, really good. Next, 2 copies of Creeping Darkness. This is the card I was talking about with Dark Arm Dragon. You're able to banish 2 dark monsters from your graveyard and add a level 4 dark monster from deck to hand. So this can let you search Kagado Kage, it can let you search your spirit monster, the Aritama. Really, really good card, really cool just being able to search and manipulate the amount of darks in your grave. Next, 1 Allure of Darkness to draw. 1 Soul Charge. This is mostly because you're playing such a high count of Ghostricks that can be special summoned, so that's kind of cool. 1 Dark Hole to clear boards. 1 Book of Moon. This can be used on your own Ghostricks as well as your opponent's cards. And the last spell is 1 Pot of Dichotomy. This card is really cool. At the start of the main phase 1, you target 3 monsters with different types in your graveyard, which you play so many different types in this deck. You shuffle them into the deck and then draw 2 cards, and you can't conduct your battle phase this turn, which isn't the big deal because you have a lot of smaller monsters with the Ghostricks that can be more control-y, so just getting card advantage is really, really strong. There's been times I want to play more of this, but I think 1 is the perfect amount. And lastly, for the traps, 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill, just the best negation in the format for monster effects, in my opinion. 2 copies of Black Horn of Heaven, just to kind of shut down those Xyz monsters, because again, this deck can play a little slower. You really want to control the game. 1 Warning, 1 Torrential, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Compulse to round out the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck that I just kind of dropped everywhere, we play 1 King of the Feral Imps, as I mentioned before, just being able to search your Kage is really good. 1 Black Ship of Corn to out hands and other problematic cards. 1 Honor Arc, just a good card. 1 Downward Magician. This is cool, being able to rank up some of your lower rank Xyz monsters into a slightly larger one that can also do piercing damage is really, really nice. 1 Diamond Direwolf to out Floodgates. This deck can have a problem with Rivalry, so that's pretty good to have that as an option. 1 Exciton, 1 Lavalval Chain, 1 Daigusto Emerald to put back resources, 1 Dweller, and 1 Cowboy. I play Cowboy over Heartland Draco because, again, this is a more control-y deck. Sometimes getting through boards is difficult, so the attack position effect does come up, as well as just being able to finish the game through using the secondary effect in defense position without having to attack and risk your board is really, really nice. So that's why we play those. Then we play 2 rank 3s, which is 1 Alucard, because you can technically make this with 2 Jiangxis. It also has the built-in protection where your opponent can't target other Ghostrick monsters or any face-down defense position monsters for attacks, so that kind of stalls out a bit too, as well as obviously having the effect to pop back row. And then it also has the effect when it's sent to graveyard, you can target a 1 other Ghostrick card in your graveyard and add it to hand, so that helps you recycle some of your Ghostricks in grave. Then the other 3 is 1 Fortune Tune, being able to stall out, put back some resources, and it's also a light, so if this does hit grave somehow, it can help with your BLS. And then we do play a couple rank 1s, 1 Dualahan. It gains a little bit of attack for each Ghostrick card you control, and then once per turn quick effect, you can detach a material and have the attack of a face-up monster on the field until the end of the turn. And then this also has the effect when it's sent to grave, you can add a Ghostrick card from grave to hand. So you can technically summon this, cut the attack of a monster, and say it was main phase 2, you can go into Downward, and then when Downward detaches, you'll be able to use this effect to add back a card, which is really cool. 1 Utopia Roots. This is basically just baby Utopia for level 1s, being able to negate attacks. And 1 Slacker Magician. This is similar to the Fortune Tune, just once per turn it can't be destroyed by battle, and then during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can detach a material and negate the activation and destroy that card. So really, really strong. It also has 2100 defense, so it's a body to get over. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about cards I would side in this deck, changes I might make in the future, if you want to see gameplay with it, or any other type of video, definitely comment that in the comments section. I have a lot of great videos planned. I'm just still working up a setup for it. But anyways, also make sure to drop a like on this video, comment, subscribe, share, you know, all that good stuff. And anyways, I will see you in the next video.